Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Talk, Real Life, and Real Live with your host, myself, Damon the Agent, where I come to you each and every Friday at 12 noon to discuss the latest real estate topics, along with answering any questions that you may have when it pertains to real estate. And also, I normally have a topic of the day. As always, before we begin, this show, please follow me on all social media platforms and be sure to subscribe if you follow me on YouTube. There are people who follow me on YouTube. Some people said they weren't not getting the notifications when I came on live, but you have to make sure that the notifications are turned on for you to get them. So again, I am on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn. Follow me on all social media platforms. And as always, I'd like to begin my real estate my topics, beginning talking about the wonderful world of real estate. So today I want to talk to you about 2024's current condition and market updates. What has been going on? Throughout this year, earlier this year, many buyers were kind of on the fence due to home prices, elevated mortgage rates, and a tight supply of inventory when it pertains to home. Well, there's been some ease. The interest rate has dropped slightly. There's been more inventory because there are a lot of people who have, there have been a lot more sellers who have been more active as far as putting their house on the market. And then the prices and stuff is making things, because of the interest rate, making things a lot affordable, because the prices in some areas are not skyrocketing as they have been the past couple of years. They're actually staggering off in some places. It just really depends on the area. Now, someone had asked me also, and this question was asked to me yesterday. The question was, are people still buying houses? And I thought that was kind of like, trick question at first, because people are going to always buy houses. It just really depends on the condition of the houses, the prices of the houses, and the location of the houses. Houses are going to always be bought. But in the past 30 days, I just want you all to know, and I'm just talking the past 30 days, okay? In DC alone, 400 houses have sold in DC in the past 30 days. In Prince George's County, in the past 30 days, 768 houses have sold, okay? In Charles County, in the past 30 days, 191 houses have sold. In Montgomery County, the past 30 days, 711 houses have sold. In Alexandria, which is right across the bridge, Alexandria, Virginia, 142 houses have sold. In Arlington, Virginia, 157 houses have sold. I just gave you the numbers of the houses that have sold in the past 30 days, just so people will understand that houses are still selling. What people are probably doing is they're probably comparing houses today to maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, when in some cases, when you will put your house on the market, houses would tend to be under contract quickly, multiple offers, a bidding war in other areas. But what's happening now is, with the supply of inventory, buyers have so much more to choose from. So buyers are not jumping at the first thing that comes on the market. They're actually being savvy buyers, and they're actually shopping around. That's why when you have a house, if it is listed, you always need to make sure that your house is priced right, that it's showing its very best, and then it has the accessibilities to where the agent and buyers can view the property. Because if not, most likely they're not coming back to that property in many cases, because they have so many others to choose from. It's just like, for example, ladies, when you go into a store and you're looking at shoes, you have so many to choose from. Sometimes you got to try on different shoes. Sometimes you go to different stores. That's why sometimes when some people go to the mall, they're in the mall for hours. And then you're like, why are they in the mall for hours? Because they have so much to choose from. The same thing applies to houses. Buyers have a lot to choose from. So they're not quick to just jump on that, because what creates a buyer's market is when there's more inventory than there is buyers. So what creates a seller's market when there are more when there are more buyers than there are houses. So right now we're at a place where there are more houses than there are buyers. So it's really a buyer's market. And again, buyers are a lot more savvy. So yes, people are buying houses, and that's the reason why I wanted to give that market update when it pertains to what's going on. Now, I did just give you all the numbers of as far as the number of houses that have actually sold in the last 30 days. Okay, and that's in the last 30 days in those particular areas. But yesterday alone, yesterday in the mid-Atlantic area, which covers all those counties I just mentioned and more, 627 houses actually sold. And when I'm telling you about the sold, I'm not talking about the ones that are pending, that are under contract, or even the ones that are actively on the market. I'm just talking about the ones that actually went to settlement in the past 30 days. So what you have to understand is houses are still selling because buyers realize right now they can get a great deal. And because of that, sellers need to be a little bit more savvy when it pertains to putting houses on the market as far as pricing is concerned, the way they show everything. Earlier this week, someone told my virtual assistant that if they got a super duper deal, they will sell a house. But here's the problem with this person who said that the condition of their house was not even average. So I think a lot of times people are thinking and in a time warp where they still are kind of stuck in time thinking this is doing when everybody was jumping at the house. No, you have to make your house ready and showing condition. You have to make your house up to par. Some people do minor updates and they want maximum prices, and that does not occur when you're trying to sell a house. And then even with buyers, sometimes buyers come in looking for all these updates, all these upgrades. They want everything in the kitchen sink from the sellers. And in some cases, they can demand it. In other cases, they cannot. It really depends on the market, the house, the area, and the negotiation that occurs. So it's always to each its own. Just like you have your own DNA, your own credit scores, and everything. Everyone's situation is different. You cannot compare yours to anyone else. But when it pertains to the market always dictates the outcome more so than the seller or the buyer. And people don't understand that. That's why when it pertains to this market update, I just want to give you all the numbers so you'll fully have a clear understanding about what's going on. So right now, if you're looking to buy, it is a great time to buy because the interest rate have gone down a little. The inventory is a lot. So you have a lot more to choose from. You have a lot more to look at. So it makes the affordability so much better because depending on the houses, depending on the location, these things can sometimes be negotiated as far as price is concerned. So I just want you all to know that the market is still going. Houses are still selling. Houses coming on the market come on every day, and houses come off the market every day. So please take that into consideration that when you're looking at houses, it is 2024. It's about to go into 2025. We're not in 2020, around when COVID hit. It's a different market right now. Please understand that because people don't even realize how quickly time have gone by. They're like, oh, we're about to be in 2025. You all can just remember COVID, right? You remember how things were when COVID hit and the demand was extremely high and the supply was kind of low and everybody out there was going looking for homes and, putting multiple offers in, overbidding. But things have changed since then. The market changes every 3 to 6 months. Right now, we're in October. If you compare the market today to March of this year, guess what? You are completely outdated. You are outdated. It's similar to like the software you put on your phone. Like, for example, the latest iPhone is iPhone 16. If you pull out an iPhone 10, 11, people are going to look at you funny. Or if you look at the software that's put on these phones, the software for the 10 or 11 cannot be used with the 16 because now we're all in the AI and all this other great things. And even with the live translate that on these phones, that didn't occur 5 years ago. And what I'm saying is the same thing occurs when it pertains to the housing market. The market changes and it goes every 3 to 6 months. It is different. Like I mentioned, we're in October. Even if you go back 4 years, I mean 4 months when it was June, the market is different now than it was then. Please take into consideration that the market shifts every 3 to 6 months, just like the seasons shift, the market shifts. So if you have a cousin, friend, lover, brother, aunt, uncle who purchased a home in February, they can't tell you the same thing for to do with your house or to do to get a house as you would right now, because it's a different market. And unless they are a professional who really understands keeping up with the latest trends, updates, and everything that's going on, they cannot advise you. That's why they're not licensed. And even when people say, "Oh, my aunt and uncle used to have a license," the question is, why do they don't have a license now? And if they have such great advice, why aren't they still licensed? You know, and a lot of times it's because they weren't consistently selling, and part of the reason they weren't consistently selling is because of their experience and other factors involved. But if they were so great, they'll still be doing things. So I just say that to say that sometimes when you listen to other people, they'll actually talk you out of a home, and they'll talk you out of getting the most money for your home as well too. Do not listen to those naysayers or the people who are not professionals, because they're speaking from an outdated information. The information that they're giving you is outdated. They can't tell you what's going on now compared to what was going on 6 months ago. They can only tell you what they learned when they was licensed, but not what's going on right now, unless they're looking at HGTV and on Zillow and Redfin. And guess what? Even all that stuff that you'll look at sometimes don't always give the most accurate information. They sometimes give you a depiction of things. They'll give you partly of things, but they don't give you all of things. That's why sometimes when some people look on Zillow or some of these other websites, and then they'll bring that house to their agent's attention, and then when that agent pull it up, guess what? It's under contract already, or it's already been sold. You know why? Because they're outdated. They're behind the curve. The people who have the most accurate information are the real estate professionals, whether you realize it or not. Even when it pertains to searching houses, they have the most up-to-date and accurate information. That's why a lot of times when people go on Zillow, they find all these nice homes, and then they'll turn around and give those same homes to their agent, and they're like, "Wow, what happened to this home?" And it's under contract. They've been under contract for 3 weeks. Well, I just saw it. They're outdated. They are outdated for a reason. They're behind the curve for a reason. So I just wanted to say, when it pertains to the market, the current market, it's a great time to buy if you are a buyer. And yes, it is a great time to sell if you are a seller, because there's so many buyers out there that they're looking for your home if you're looking to sell. Please reach out to me. Check out damontheagent.com. I'll be happy to help you. All right, y'all. I'm about to go into my Q&A, which is my questions and answers. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. You see me now? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now I'm at my Q&A, which is my questions and answers, y'all. Please feel free to send in any questions that you may have. All right. Let's begin with the very first question of the day. The first question is there some type of data you can get on the history of a home like you can a vehicle? Is there some type of data you can get on the history of a house like you can a vehicle? Well, let me answer that. Well, a car, you can get Carfax. With a house, you know what I'm saying? The title work that's normally done by the title company always gives you a lot of data that may be needed. But to be truthful, as far as what has occurred in that house, there's actually no way to tell. I mean, let me say, for example, if someone got killed in a house or something to that effect, you can always Google the address to see if things pop up on the news, on criminal crime reports, things of that nature. But what occurs in the house, there is no way to know the history of what goes on in the house. It could, unless it's people who are neighbors and stuff. When you go look at a house, speaking to the neighbors a lot of times can give you as much information as possible. But let's be real. A lot of times, even the neighbors can't tell you what goes on in the house. People can run a brothel or be doing something, illegal in their home that sometimes would never be discovered. You not to know all the history of a home, from anyone. Like I said, title companies run the title search on it, and things of that nature. You can always pull up the property history when it pertains to when it was sold and bought and who owned properties. Those are the type of searches that you can do as far as finding out the history, but as far as finding out the history of who lived in it, how they lived, and things of that nature, no, you can't find that out. That's unless you got cameras everywhere. You're not even gonna know all the history of what went on in an apartment. All right. Um, Another question is, being a real estate professional of 19 years, what has been the most challenging for you? Being a real estate professional of 19 years, what has been the most challenging for you? Um, I want to say the most challenging for me is when people don't allow you to do your job, when they feel like they know more than you or they've listened to other people. I would say that's it, but I think that sometimes as human beings just dealing with people and stuff. I mean, the most challenging for me is just when people think they know more than I do, or they don't listen and they want to do things their ways. And then let's say hypothetically, if I give my professional advice as far as what the sales price should be of a property, and a homeowner may say, well, you know what, I want to list my house for this amount because I feel like it's going to sell for this amount. And then I said, okay, because again, I'm professional. I am to give my professional advice. And if they say, oh, we want to list it, let's say if I say your house is worth 800,000, they say I want to list it for 1 million. Guess what? I'm gonna list it for 1 million. I'm also going to tell them, well, if it doesn't sell after a certain amount of time, let's revisit the comps and see, what the numbers are looking like. And let's say we put it on the market for 1 million, and it doesn't sell and it doesn't get any traffic. And then they want to come back and blame me for not getting any traffic. But I advised them that it should have sold at 800,000, but they're the ones who wanted to put it on for 1 million. They want to take no accountability. That's been the most difficult thing for me in my 19 years, when people don't listen. They think they know more than I do when it pertains to real estate. And then when I advise them, they don't listen to my advice. And then we go with their advice. And then they want to blame me and say, oh, but they never listened to me in the first place because they didn't allow me to do my job. So that's probably the most difficult thing for me. Like I mentioned before, markets go up and down, market shifts. That's always occurred since I've been a real estate professional, and it is what it is. But like I said, most difficult thing is when people think they know more than me when it pertains to real estate, want to tell me how to do my job. And then when I said, okay, let's do it your way, and then it don't go their way, then they want to point the finger. So that's probably the most difficult thing for me. All right, let me see what another question would be. All right. I don't have any more questions right now. So let me go to my next topic of the day. I'll be right back. Uh, all right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. All right, my topic of the day, y'all, is never give up. Um, I want to just say that to the fact that you know, so many of us go through things all the time, and we a lot of times don't know what anyone is going through. Someone had mentioned to me that they see all that I do, all that I go through, when truth be told, they don't see all that I go through. I deal with a lot. I juggle many hats. I do a lot of things, um, because I'm one of those person who need leverage and things. But the one thing about me is I never give up. I've never given up um, in life. I don't give up on anything, period, because the one thing I realize is every day that I wake up is a chance for me to get it right, a chance for me to persevere and to keep moving. It's a lot of struggle that people are going through right now, whether it's mentally, physically, financially, you know. Um, but no matter what you do, and I know it's easier said than done to don't give up, but truth be told is sometimes when we do things, things fall into place. I remember when I have a daughter now, she's 26 years old. And I remember when I had gotten custody of her when she was 4 years old. And to be honest with you, I didn't know how I was going to deal with that, having a daughter, because I had other kids that weren't living with me that I had to also deal with. And the one thing that I kept doing is I kept moving. And as I kept moving, doors opened. People made themselves available for me. And I say that to say that the same thing happens with you. When you are genuine, when you're a good person, when you pray to your God, God hears you and he answers your prayers in different ways. It's not always the way that we want or expect, but he does hear what we say. That's part of the reason he wants us to have a relationship with him and not to only come to him when we need or want something. He wants us to talk to him, to have an intimate relationship with him. Nobody likes to be used. Think about it. If you ain't heard from a family member and then they just call you up and say, hey, can you give me some money? Even if you have the money, sometimes you don't want to give them because you're like, Dad, you just calling me for that. You ain't even see how I'm doing. I don't never hear from you. The same thing is with your God. Your God hears you when you speak to them. Allah hears you when you speak to them. And the thing about it is when you continuously move, when you continuously get out, when you continuously do things, people see you. And when people see you, sometimes people are willing to help you when they know that you're trying to really do something. And I just say that to say that, you know, people are people are losing jobs, people are losing their health, people are losing their spouse, people are losing their life. Every day that you wake up, guess what? Those people who lost their life, those people lost their health, there are people who would trade places with you in a heartbeat. Just think about this. Sometimes when you look on social media and you see people, whether it's funny reels or whatever, sometimes you got to think to yourself, well, my life ain't as bad as I thought it was, because you can look at other people who have much worse lives than you do. So I say that to say that you have to constantly keep moving. No matter what you want to do or be in life, understand that you still have time, because it's never too late and never too early to begin anything. Because here's the thing, we don't know how long we're going to live. You can live another 30, 40 years, even if you're 50. If you're 50, you can live 40 years. That means you live to your 90. Take 40 years off your life right now. That means you were 10. Think about all the stuff you went through in the last 40 years. Now, if you're 50 or whatever, I'm just using this number for example, you don't know what you will go through in the next 40 years. So that's why I say it's never too early or too late to begin anything, but you have to constantly keep moving, because when you move, things fall into place. And when you try, things fall into place. Don't give up. But see, I think a lot of things that happen to people is so many people want the easy way out because so many people are spoiled. It's easy for people to give you things. It's easy for people to do things for you and stuff rather than you doing those things yourself or figuring out things on yourself. It's easy. But guess what? Even though it may be easy for people to do that, how do you know it was easy for them to get that? You don't know. So I just say never give up, because if you give up, you might be one step away from achieving your goals, one step away from accomplishing what you need, one step away from being what you need to be, one step away from everything that you want to have, in your possession. But you never know, because sometimes it can become tiring, overwhelming, stressful. And I get it. And when those moments occur, what I would tell you is go take a nap. Take a nap, because when you wake up, your mind is refreshed, rejuvenated, and you're ready to begin again. So when you get in those moments when life is stressing you out, you're frustrated, you're tired, take a nap. And if you can't take a nap, please look at some form of entertainment that's either going to relax you, whether it's music or something that's going to make you laugh, through comedy. Because whether you realize it or not, comedy is good for the soul. Laughing is good for the soul. And good music is good for your soul. And these things make you feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. Trust and believe. You do better when you feel better. But if you ain't feeling good about anything or yourself, guess what? You're going to be stuck in a rut. And no one wants to be stuck in a rut. So I hope that you understand to never give up on anything that you want to do, because what you want is in your possession and we can have it. If you see somebody else have it, you can have it too, because guess what? It's obtainable. So please never, ever give up, because you never know. Greatness is right around the corner, the next step ahead. So I'll be right back for my closing remarks. Stop. right, y'all. Before I do my closing remarks, please follow me on all social media platforms. Again, I am on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Please follow me and please subscribe on YouTube. If you follow me on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Well, again, I'm going to get a market recap. Like I said, houses are still selling every day. There's a settlement. People are buying every day. Houses are coming on the market every day. People are going under contract every day. The house is moving. Houses are moving, y'all. They're just moving slower than they were before because there are a lot more houses on the market. It's a lot more inventory. So it gives the buyer more options to choose from. But they're out there. And now it's a great time to buy because the fact the interest rate gone down, there's more inventory for you to look at. That means some prices somewhere is negotiable just for you. Hey, perfect time. Don't wait until next year because next year prices might be up and you'll be in a bidding war again and you'll be frustrated. So now is the time to begin. Reach out to my website. Check out my website, damontheagent.com. It was updated a couple of weeks ago. Check it out if you haven't checked it out. I'm pretty sure you'll love it. Has any and everything for those of you who don't know. But also one of the things that's on my new website is it's a place on there. If you don't know where to move to in this area, you can click on my website, upper left corner relocation, answer a few questions. When you answer those questions, guess what's going to happen? It's going to tell you which area you should move in based off you answering the questions. Hey, I made it simplified and easy for you and very localized just for you. So check out damontheagent.com. And again, y'all, please, please, please never give up. Don't give up on your kids. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on life because every day that you wake up is another day for you to get it right. And I know those kids be getting on your nerves, whether they're young or whether they grown. Don't give up on them. Sometimes you just got to pray for them and let everything else work itself out and then keep moving. But again, them kids also get some of those ways for you. Don't blame it on the other parent either. People always like to say, oh, they take after your mother, you take after your father. No, sometimes they take after you. You just don't own up and be accountable for it. But again, when it pertains to any and everything else, don't never give up. Okay? I just want to say that. I want to thank you all for following me again on all my social media platforms. I thank you for joining me each and every Friday at 12 noon where I talk about the latest real estate topics, the latest real estate updates. And I always like to talk about a subject, just like I talked about just now. Never give up. And I always answer the Q&A questions that you may have for me. So I'll see you next week. And I'm going to be doing a show soon where I'm going to have some people on my show and we're going to talk about these grown adult kids. Grown adult kids. We're going to talk about them because they need to be talked about. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. Y'all have a great weekend. I shall see y'all soon.